Mark Barie is the owner and driver at Lore Rob Belgium's. Last year, he won the Big E Showdown, the six-horse hitch. That is the pinnacle of the show. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Big E Showdown is the all-breed draft six-horse hitch class, which qualifies for the Classic Series. And the Big E is one of the venues that's really made a big deal out of the Classic Six class. They've made it a very good financial class, and it was just a real honor to win it. It was a great class. The competition was strong, like it always is here, and we were fortunate enough to come out on top last year.
Mark, is that one of the larger prize pools in draft showing?
It is. There's several shows across the country that have really put their focus in what we call the combined six or the classic six, and the Big E is right up there with one of the more prestigious wins as far as financially and so forth.
Is the team that you competed with last year here this year?
A few of them. We've made a few changes. We will actually have 3 different ones in there this year from last year. We've made some changes, have a couple young horses in there, so you never know what's going to happen. Never know what's going to happen.
In that particular class, are different draft breeds competing?
Yes, they'll be representing all 3 draft breeds, the Clydesdales, the Belgians, and the Percherons. This year, the Belgians have more numbers here this year than the other 2 breeds. A lot of that is because the Percherons will be back here using the facility in 2 weeks for their Percheron Congress. Again, the Big E's a great facility, and the show staff, all the administration of the Big E really does a great job for our portion of the show, and we're really grateful for what they do.
In your years of showing at the Big E, what are some of your most memorable Big E moments?
That's very interesting. Definitely winning the 6 last year was probably one of the best ones. We started coming here in the late 90s. I want to say it was 97 or 98. And the Big E was the host for the North American Classic Finals at that point. And it was just the first year it was here was a fantastic year. And we were fortunate enough to represent the Belgians. The Classic Series brings in 4 Belgians, 4 Percherons, and 4 Clydesdales, and we were very fortunate to be one of the Belgians. And that year in particular, there was a hitch of Belgians here from New Mexico, and that was really great to have them here that were from so far away. Another hitch from New York State called Rocking Horse Ranch was here, and that was a real memorable year for us because one of our first years that we'd participated in the Classic Finals, and it all started right here at the Big E for us.
Oh, well, that's very, very special. And Mark, why are Belgians your choice of draft horse to work with?
Actually, the reason that we've ended up with Belgians, we're a family operation. My grandfather actually farmed with horses, and he originally farmed with Belgian horses. And the way this all got started, we have a dairy farm. We milk about 2,000 cows and do all of our own cropping. We have 7,000 acres that we crop. But when my grandfather got to retirement age, my uncle and my father approached him and said, "You need a hobby," and he wanted a pair of horses, a pair of Belgians. That's what he originally farmed with, and it all snowballed from there. And now we have about 60 head of Belgians.
Where is your farm located?
We're in East Bethany, New York, which would be just southeast of Buffalo. If you look on the map, we're kind of right between Buffalo and Rochester.
How has your Big E been going so far this year?
It's been great. The weather's been perfect, which is the nicest thing, actually. And we had 3 classes yesterday. We were second in all 3, which is great, and I'm not going to complain. We have a couple important classes tonight, so we've had a great week so far.
What advice would you recommend to people who might be interested in getting involved with Belgians?
That's a really good question. The draft industry is very unique. You've probably heard this from other people. All the exhibitors are very close. We're a very tight-knit group of folks. And I would say if you have any interest in getting into the industry, talk to us. Talk to the different folks that can kind of guide you in the right direction. I think a mistake that some people do make when they get started is they try to go right for the top. And to get your feet wet with a horse, horses that suit your needs and suit your desires is really important. And there's all sorts of people within the industry that can help you with that. And just come be part of the group. Come ask lots of questions and talk to the folks. Every breed has their registry association, which is very helpful with guiding you towards people in your area that can help. The Belgian Draft Horse Corporation is in Wabash, Indiana. The Percheron Horse Association is in Fredericktown, Ohio. And the Clyde Association, I believe, is in Illinois. So all 3 breeds have very strong draft registries that can help out with any needs that new people might have.
You said you had about 60 head on the farm of Belgians. Are you breeding them to come up and work future hitches, or is that a program that you sell those horses?
A little of both. We really enjoy having foals and raising them up and so forth. It's a real challenge, and especially to show at the level that we want to be at, it's very hard to raise them. We're really fortunate. We've got 3 kind of in our starting 10 that we've raised, and we're very excited about that. We have more coming on, and it's also a real pleasure when you see other folks that have animals that you've bred. For example, the Morrisville College has 2 horses in their 6 last night we had raised, and we're real proud of that. And that, you know, just because a horse doesn't work for you doesn't mean that it won't work for somebody else. And so we have a pretty extensive breeding program. We have about 10 to 12 foals a year, and the numbers add up quickly. So that's how we have several retired older horses, and that adds to the number as well. So.
Are they really easy keepers?
For the most part, yes. You'll get a few that are a little tougher, but once you get these older horses to their weight and what they usually are, they're really not as hard of keepers as most people would think relative to their size.
In addition to coming to the Big E, how far do you travel to compete?
On a regular basis, we go as far as Indianapolis. We show next month at a show out at Michigan State University in East Lansing, Michigan. We always go to Toronto to the Royal Winter Fair. We've gone as far as Brandon, Manitoba. We showed at the Denver Stock Show in January a couple of years ago. So it all depends on the year. But usually the Big E is always in our schedule. New York State Fair, which is kind of in our backyard. That's our hometown show, as well as the the Indiana State Fair and Ohio State Fair.
Given the size of the horses, the wagons, the tack, it's a lot of stuff. What does it take to get from your farm to competing at a show like this?
A lot of work, a lot of packing, a lot of planning. We actually generally will bring, we have a 53-foot semi, which we can hold 9 horses, our wagon, our show cart, and 8 sets of harness for the horses. We'll also load that with about 50 bales of hay and the grain that we'll need for the week. Some shows, depending on if we take a few extra horses, we'll take a stock trailer that we'll put a couple horses in, or some feed and bedding, and then we always bring a camper for the living quarters. So generally we'll have at least a semi and camper, and sometimes a stock trailer with us as well.
Lot goes into that, Mark. Mark, thank you so much for your time. I hope we can come back and meet the six horse hitch team.
So, thank you for having us. We're very happy to be here.
Thank you.